welcome back to my channel. This is Nana's Adventures and I'm here with another episode talking about careers. Today I'm here with my friend Emmanuelle, who's a statistician, and before we get into it, thank you for all those who have watched my previous videos, liked, commented and shared. I hope you found it very useful and we're going to get straight into the questions. So, can you introduce yourself?
My name is Emmanuelle Dankwa. I am a DPhil student in statistics at the University of Oxford, and I study the modeling of infectious diseases to inform control interventions.
Cool. So we have some questions on her phone. So if we look down, that's what we'll be looking at. She's already mentioned what she's currently studying. So Emmanuelle came from Ghana to do her course here, and she was at the University of Ghana first. So my question to you is, how has been the transition? Like what have you found different?
Yeah, so lots of things have been different, particularly the work environment and the study environment. Now, in the University of Ghana, I was an undergraduate, and in undergraduate, the modules are structured, the courses are structured, even the vacations are structured. In contrast, as a postgraduate, that is, as somebody studying after the undergraduate level, things are quite different in that, to a very large extent, you do have to structure your study plan and find out what works for you. You will also be doing more research than coursework, so that has also been different. Now, there is also a big cultural difference between the UK and Ghana, so I've had to think about the cultural aspects, yeah, a lot as well.
Plus the weather.
Yes. Oh, the weather. Yes. So that. Yes, so those are the main differences on the social side as well, right? Like just the way people interact here is quite different from the way it's done in Ghana. So yeah, social, cultural, and also educational.
Language, food.
Yes. Yeah, lots.
So going back, what drove you into statistics? Like, what did you do before you got into statistics? Did you come across any crossroads, and how did you navigate that?
Yeah, so there's an interesting story there. In my senior high school education, I did study science, so that saw me doing physics, chemistry, biology, and elective maths. And I loved maths. I loved maths a lot. So I applied to read maths in the university. However, that wasn't my first choice. My first choice was medicine. I didn't get into medicine, and I think I was quite sad, but like not too sad. I did get into my second choice, which is mathematics, and in the beginning I was wondering, what are the possible career choices? Like, what could I do? My grandmother actually thought I could only be a maths teacher, so she actively tried to convince me out of it. But I found it enjoyable. I loved maths. Now, I did maths with statistics, so I was doing those two concurrently. In my fourth year, however, I found out that the maths modules were becoming more abstract, and I couldn't relate to them in the way that I did relate to them in the first year, because I wanted something more practical. Now, statistics was offering me that, so I began asking myself, how could I apply my mathematics and statistics skills to something that's more practical? Now, remember, I said I wanted to be a doctor, right? So I did have some interest in health. So I was like, okay, what really could I do with maths and statistics and health? And so I settled on statistical epidemiology, which is what I'm doing now, applying mathematical and statistical tools to understanding the spread of infectious diseases and how they could be controlled. So that's how come I'm here.
Example, COVID, right?
Yeah. And I'm loving it.
And of course, mention of COVID, you've got caught in the transition of being here, everything was all rosy, and then COVID hit, and most of your families are back home, right?
Yes.
So how have you navigated that in your social circles?
Wow, social circles. So Oxford
support system.
Yeah. It's been good in the sense that I've been able to, even in the midst of COVID, still be able to connect to family back home. So that's also been important and helpful. My department also did continue to put up events, like social events and meetings online. I still continue to meet with my supervisor. She was really helpful, Professor Crystal Donnelly in the statistics department. So yeah, shout out to you, Crystal. So that was really helpful. Of course, the fact that a lot of things had to move online in a way that we weren't, or well, that most people weren't used to, was something that I had to get adapted to. But with time, I think I got quite used to it.
I know a lot of students, especially undergraduates, got caught in this, stranded abroad. You couldn't go home, and what support do you have, and who do you stay with, and who do you contact with? And it has had quite a tremendous effect on a lot of young people's state of mind. I mean, being a freshers, you just hang out and chill, and freshers happen and you are cooped indoors. And, that takes a different experience altogether. Like one that you look back and think, what was that all about? But while you are in it, it's quite scary, it's quite frustrating. You hear about people dying and the disease spread, and then you get thrusted in the middle of it. So it's quite important that you have a good support system to help you, not only with your academics, but you can't be studying the whole time. So all work and no play, as they say. Make Jack a dull boy, and you have to try and find that balance. I mean, I'm not a student, but how I'd manage that is like doing activities, going outside, going for a walk, going for a run. Luckily, I work in healthcare and I got to go to work, so that was my excuse to leave the house. I felt sorry for anyone who didn't have gardens or places to play, and you get, some people are introverted and they were fine, but if you're a very extroverted person, it's quite a challenge, really. And kudos to anyone who has made it this far and is still thriving. It's a learning, point. COVID is here to stay. We don't know how things are going forward.
We hope not, but it seems.
So going forward, you have to find ways of coping if it prolongs for a longer time, and it has a transitional tone to it. So you never know. It's quite shifting. You're getting new variants and all that. Speaking of which, if you've not been vaccinated, please do. Your booster shot. Let's all follow the course, and hopefully we can get out of it together. So, looking back, do you think, although it was a second choice, do you think it was the right choice looking back?
Definitely. Like, I have enjoyed mathematics. I think that one of the things that I have benefited a lot from is just like the versatility of the subject and the range of career options you could explore once you have a degree in mathematics. I have been really happy to just apply my mathematical skills to something as important as health and the prevention of infectious disease outbreaks. I think that I haven't regretted.
And what will be your advice to a younger person who is considering getting into and is not quite sure? Like, how would you advise them to approach it?
So I think that a brief anecdote, I did mention that I applied to do medicine but didn't get in, but decided to do maths. But the period between not getting in and deciding to do maths, it was really, there was a mix of emotions, right? Because I didn't know what maths held for me, what a degree in maths held for me. I loved math, but again, I wasn't sure about career options. So one thing which would have been helpful to me, if I had just known about career options, then I would have been more confident in my choices and just more confident in exploring the subject area more. So please do search, speak to people, ask people, perhaps who have done mathematics, or I'm just talking to mathematics, but this applies
any career.
in any career. So please do speak to people, and not just like people in one area only, like speak to people in other fields. It's really important to be able to just get different viewpoints and different perspectives for for some it worked, for some it didn't, and like you want to be able to explore why it did and why it did not. So speaking to people is really all very important. I think the second thing is being open, being open to explore. I think that if I had been like stuck with medicine and said, oh no, it's medicine or nothing else, I wouldn't have had this joy that I have currently. So being open is really important. I remember my uncle and I walking into the provost's office to just speak about what possible things I could do, and with a maths and statistics degree, and I was open to hear what he had to say. So being open is really connected to the first thing that I said, like being willing to speak to other people. The third thing is having the mindset that career is not just like a straight path. Like there can be different routes, like it can be zigzaggy. It doesn't always have to be like one smooth like road.
Some people have that, but not everyone.
Exactly.
You have to be willing to go on that journey.
Exactly. So if you do start your undergraduate say in maths, and you find that you didn't particularly enjoy it, or you do not want to explore say a quantitative career, you could always switch. Like you're not stuck with one thing forever. I think that understanding that really does help. And the last thing is having mentors, like having good mentors. Now I did say earlier about speaking to people. There's a difference between having a one-off conversation and having somebody that you go to over and over again just for advice and discussing things. Exactly, because I mean mentors will be people that have been where you want to go, and so they can advise you. Exactly. A mentor was really helpful in helping me apply to Oxford, and Robert, shout out to you if you're watching this. Thank you so much for all the help. And my departmental heads in the Department of Statistics and the Department of Mathematics, like they were really helpful as well. So it is important to have mentors.
And to add to that, a mentor doesn't have to be someone in a professional capacity. You can find a mentor in a family member. You can find a mentor in a friend, and it's good to confine and get things out of your head into the space, because sometimes it makes sense in your head, and then you speak to someone about it, and you're like, that doesn't quite, or maybe actually it's not as bad as I thought. And in terms of the career, as Emmanuelle said, it's always good to speak to people who are doing the course and those who are applying what they've done with the course, i.e. they're actually working. So if there's any networking events, try and attend those. Always good opportunity to network with people, ask questions. You know, that's the only way you're going to get answers. If you're quiet about it,
no answers.
No, exactly. No answers. And again, as I said in my previous video, fees are not free these days. So choose wisely, choose carefully while you're wanting to explore and be versatile. Choose and always try and project. So in 5 years' time, where do you see yourself? That's my next question I'll be coming to. What is the next step? Because if you cannot project yourself and you think that there might be a block or you can't see the end of the tunnel, this is the time to ask questions. Don't wait till you've got to the 40 and realize, actually, I was doing the wrong thing all this while. And then by then you've wasted your time, your years that you could have switched to something completely different. So that's the bit I'll add to it. So now, Emmanuelle, what's the next step?
Yeah, so before that, I just wanted to add a related thing about mentoring. It's one of the things it gives you is the access to networks. So because your mentors might know other people in the area that you want to explore, and it's really great what kinds of opportunities that networking can open. Like people would be more willing to engage with a contact of a contact rather than like a total stranger to me. So it's really important
because you trust the person who's giving.
Yes, exactly. So and you can always go back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So about next steps, exciting. I did talk earlier about being open-minded. One of the things that gives you is the freedom to reevaluate and reassess and ask yourself, am I happy in what I'm doing now, and what additional thing do I think that I want to do, just like long term, and the freedom in asking that question regularly is really, I mean, it's a relief, right? Like, it's refreshing to be able to do that. So in asking myself those questions, particularly in COVID, I did discover that I have an interest in health policy. So what my research does, as I said earlier, is to offer recommendations on control strategies that could be explored to control infectious disease outbreaks. I am very concerned about how those recommendations translate to actual tangible impact. And so if a scientist gives a recommendation, say, what are the processes involved in translating that to policy, which will then inform real world population health outcomes. And so as a result of that, I'm looking to explore careers or courses in health policy. I love research, so I will still continue in research, at least in the medium term. But as a researcher, I want to be actively involved in policy as well.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions that you'd like to ask me? Or
Well, no, just to say that I think that you watching this video as like a step to thinking more deeply about your career is a good thing. Please keep coming to the channel and keep exploring, keep asking questions, keep talking to people, because there is information out there. There are a lot of people out there who are like willing to help, and yes, just be open-minded to explore.
And even one has any questions about any of the career videos and you want to speak to someone personally, like Emmanuelle, message me. I will leave a comment or message me with my email address. I think my email address is in the description or in the about section, and then I will connect you to if you want a question answered that you don't want to put in the comment section. I'm always happy to help. So on that note, we'll end this video here. Thank you for watching, thank you for liking, sharing and subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Nana's Adventures, and I'm bringing you another episode about careers. Today I have my friend here called Emmanuelle. And Emmanuelle is a statistician, but before we get into it, I'm going to get to introduce herself and then we'll carry on.
Hello, so I'm Emmanuelle and I'm currently a DPhil.